Hello everyone, welcome to Tuesday's video on Celtic AM. If you don't know about us, or me, we do daily Celtic related videos, Monday to Friday, bright and early for you at 7 AM Celtic Park time. If you like what you see at some point during this video and you fancy subscribing to the channel, that would be much appreciated and help us, me, to grow the channel and go forward. Right, we've got a couple of things I want to cover today. The main focus is going to be on, you can tell from the title, the away allocation debate, fiasco, whatever you want to call it. We'll get on to that in a second. Before then, the draw for the Scottish Cup semi-finals was made last night after Hearts' narrow victory over Greenock Morton at Capello. It's ourselves, Aberdeen, Hearts and Rangers in the last four of the Cup, and as you know, there's no real suspense here. You know what's going on here. We have been drawn to face Aberdeen on the weekend of April the 20th and 21st. That's the order the teams came out. The other match, as we know, is Rangers versus Hearts. So two pretty tasty semis there. Aberdeen, I think it's fair to say, are the weakest side, certainly based on the league so far this season, the weakest side left in the competition. But they could be a very different animal. They may no longer be sheep in a month's time. They may be something more fierce than sheep when they get a new manager in and settled and all of that stuff. So it's not a tie to take lightly, but frankly at the moment no match is to be taken lightly by Celtic, but it is a good opportunity nonetheless for the team to get through to the cup final, where we could of course face Rangers. Last Celtic Rangers cup final all the way back in 2002, 21 cup finals since then, hasn't seen that matchup. So it's pretty strange that that's not happened. I mean, Rangers have gone through a hell of a lot since then. They're a new club for a start, but a couple of big semis to go before that. Just for your mental calendar, if you have such a thing, the Aberdeen Cup semi will slide in after our home game against St Mirren. So off the top of my head, we have St Johnstone this weekend, international break after that, then we go to Livingston, then we go to Rangers, then St Mirren at home, then the Cup semi, and then we're into the post-split fixture. So plenty of big games coming up, but that is no surprise. Right, let's move on to the main topic on today's video. The whole away allocation situation in Scottish football, and obviously concerning Celtic, because in the last, 12 hours or so, yet another team have announced that they will be cutting the number of tickets they give to Celtic away fans. It's Hibernian this time, with the Easter Road side sticking out a statement on Monday evening following their game against Rangers 24 hours earlier. The website statement was titled "Supporter Conduct Enough is Enough," and when you've got a title like that, you know something big is coming. The key bit we're focusing on the statement reads: following fan behaviour and chanting from opposing teams this season, the club's board of directors will be reducing the away allocation at Easter Road moving forward, alongside taking further actions. It's fair to say there has been a bit of an outcry about the conduct of Rangers supporters at the weekend. Hibs themselves have had a number of regrettable incidents over the years, Celtic related ones. I remember Scott Sinclair having a glass bottle thrown at him during a Scottish Cup tie in 2019. So they have their issues. To be fair to them, they actually addressed that in the statement, but the key part is that they feel the way forward is to cut the away allocation. Now, Celtic received 3,624 tickets for a recent win there. The talk seems to be that number could be halved or more. And Hibs are not the only side to have recently cut our allocation. Oh no, it's probably easier to actually name the teams who haven't done so. They are Livingston, Dundee, Ross County and St Johnstone. Obviously the Celtic Rangers ticket furore, and that is a furore, gets most of the attention just given the profile of that fixture. But I mean, Celtic had 576 fans at Tynecastle for the two matches so far this season, so it's not just a Celtic Rangers issue. This is affecting virtually every Celtic away match, and the number of tickets we're getting just seems to be going down, club by club, season by season. The good thing is that Celtic actually publicise the amount of tickets we get for these matches. They've been doing that for a couple of years. You may see the tweets going up occasionally from the ticketing account, and it says we have received X number of tickets for this match. So I've done a bit of research just looking at the various amounts, allocations so far this season, and this is it in order of the percentage of the stadium's capacity. And as you can see, it's very wide ranging, all the way from Livingston, who basically give us the keys to the Tony Macaroni Arena, all the way down to us getting just 1.4% of Ibrox when we even get tickets at all. That is, as I say, quite wide ranging. Most of the teams in that kind of 15 to 35% mark. As I say, Livingston are probably a bit of an anomaly, and it looks like they'll be heading out of the division anyway. Hibs number there, fairly decent at the moment, but that is likely to come down to somewhere near Aberdeen's, and it's hard to see how stuff could be changed. Now, in October, there was talk of the SPFL bringing in a new rule that would guarantee clubs a minimum away allocation at matches. Now, as with virtually every SPFL vote, an 11-1 majority would be required, so it's quite difficult to get anything new through, which is part of the issue with these things. But the SPFL's competitions working group had reportedly asked clubs if they would vote in favour of bringing in regulation, obliging clubs to provide a set percentage of their stadium to away fans. So in UEFA competition, for example, home teams have to give up 5% of their stadium to visiting supporters. That's why Feyenoord had 3,000 fans, at Celtic Park. Scottish Cup, I think the number is actually 20%, although that doesn't always happen to that specific number or percentage. There was talk of a vote in January, but that clearly didn't take place because we haven't heard anything about it. For me, going back to this graphic, the issue with the whole 5% thing is that it would only apply to two teams here as far as Celtic are concerned, Hearts and Rangers at the bottom. Even a team like Aberdeen, who used to give us far more tickets, and their current allocation feels quite limited, it's still 7.5% of their stadium, which is in kind of other leagues that would be seen as a pretty vast away allocation. So that's part of the issue, is that we do actually receive pretty large away allocations across the board, with the exception of a couple of clubs. It's just frustrating that clubs seem to be bringing down the away supports. As I say, virtually every season that there's a further decrease across the board, and these Celtic fans are locked outside of these stadiums effectively, not literally, while thousands of seats lie empty in the home end. And that was the case at Tynecastle in the matches this season, and it'll be even more obvious, I think, at Easter Road if we only have half a stand, for example. It's just quite frustrating, and the purpose of this video isn't just to rant and rave about the other teams in the Premiership. They are within their rights, within the current rules, to do what they want. This is just from a Celtic supporter's point of view, that I just think it's such a shame that, as I say, you have fans wanting to buy tickets and go to matches and give these clubs money as well, but these clubs would rather the seats lay empty. And I just don't think it's a good look for Scottish football when matches are on TV and you see loads of empty seats, and these clubs had an opportunity to fill those seats. I get the whole point about them not wanting to have their stadium taken over by Celtic fans and Rangers fans, but it's just not a good look, as I say, when these seats are lying empty. Basically, I don't think we knew how good we had it 10-15 years ago, and without being too dramatic, the way things are going, we're heading for a point when away days almost seem to be a thing of the past for so many Celtic fans. The days of us taking huge numbers to Ibrox, Tynecastle, Easter Road and Pittodrie seem to be over, and you're really unsure and doubtful if they will ever return. In terms of, the things Scottish football has going for it, for me, supporters are the number one. We don't have the fantastic world-class players anymore. We don't have the great pitches and, quality of football and stuff like that. What we do have is incredible passion that I don't think you see in many other countries around Europe. And for me, the supporters, are the ones who bring that passion, and away supporters in particular, supporters who follow their team away from home. And it seems like clubs are wanting to turn that away now. Is the solution to bring in some sort of percentage cap that you need to give, to away fans? As I say, that wouldn't necessarily work because the percentages are already high. I wonder if some sort of rule could be brought in that if you aren't going to sell, a certain amount of tickets in the home end, you have to pass them over to the away fans. Because I think the league should be stepping in here and saying, no, we want the stadiums, as full as possible. The problem with the SPFL is that they are at the behest of the clubs, and I think the majority of clubs are going to be looking out for their own supporters rather than away supporters. And maybe in a nutshell, that's why Scottish football doesn't ever really make proper, well thought out changes. It's very much just, every club's singular interest. So yeah, I know not everyone will agree with me. There'll probably be supporters of other clubs who watch this video as well and are maybe frustrated by what I say. Listen, I admit it, I'm completely biased. I look out for Celtic's point of view. There'll be Celtic fans as well who will say, I don't want any away fans at Celtic Park. Certainly not, Rangers, Hearts fans, etc. Again, that's their point of view. I just think that the greater good is that we want stadiums as full as possible. And it seems to me like these tiny allocations are becoming more and more acceptable. Empty seats are becoming more and more acceptable. The idea of Celtic having 500 fans at Tynecastle 15-20 years ago would have genuinely been unthinkable. The idea of us having only 700 fans at Ibrox and them having a similar number at Celtic Park would have been completely unthinkable as well. But that's where we're at the moment, and I wonder if this keeps happening, where we'll be in 5-10 years. Will we reach a point where away supports just aren't a thing in Scottish football? I think that would be such a shame, and that's why I feel quite strongly about things at this stage. Anyway, thanks for watching. As I say, I'm sure you'll let us know your thoughts in the comments. You're never shy in that regard. Just try and keep it as nice as possible, please. I'll return this time tomorrow, and I'm sure there'll be far more to talk about.